VINCRU12000 mic. I feel like I'm on the holodeck right now. I filmed this already, and then as I was editing it, I was thinking more about the questions and wanted to add more. So here I am. My place is a mess, so I put this beautiful sunset backdrop in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but what I wanted to say was, first of all, congratulations. You make amazing videos. You always have so many books and all this information about those books. Really, really awesome for the community. One of the huge, I learned so much when I watch your videos. And obviously he's just a super nice guy. So thank you so much for what you do and making all the videos. And thanks so much for doing the contest. I think I'm late or whatever. So if it doesn't count, that's fine. If you already did the draw. I just thought it was an awesome contest. I've been watching more entries for this contest than I have in any contest in a long time. So, yeah, I thought it was really fascinating and really great to hear different people's thoughts on what's going on. But I really wanted to answer them myself because I think about a lot of things and I don't always know the answers, but I like to talk and hear my own voice. So here I go. Comic book world predictions. I think we are living in a pretty exciting time. There's a lot of great writers and people who've shown up, I think, because comics have been on the rise with movies and different things like that. I think that is a part of it. If you think about just like the Spider-Man movies and stuff, probably started 15, 20 years ago now. So that whole generation that started their imagination was sort of reignited for some of these characters, I think, went into writing and wanted to write the comics themselves. And now that whole generation is growing up and we're seeing them enter into the world. There's schools for writing and stuff. And I think the fact that the writing is so good is what has really pushed the medium forward. It's also a wonderful sort of community. No other organization, I don't think, in terms of like publishing and media, really has this kind of community, which is, I think, why it's done so well while the rest of publishing is done poorly. And I think that's going to continue to grow. What I would really like to see and hope will be happening in the next few years is that there'll be a lot more sense of legitimacy of comics, that even though the big two has sort of carried the weight for so long and kept this industry going and is a big reason, like I said, about community, of why this industry does so well, I think these image titles and people just being able to do whatever they want and sort of have the reins taken off is really going to make it almost like books or like fiction books, things like that, a much more approachable media and hopefully widely accepted media. I know in school, comics are really important to me. I read Mouse, was one of the first comics I read, which sort of depicts World War II, which I had no idea at the time. But as I read it, I learned all about the human body from a comic book that taught all about what different blood cells do and things like that, and made characters out of these things. It was sort of like a Magic School Bus kind of thing before that. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for comics to go into different realms and stuff as well. And I'd love to see more of that on like on a bigger scale than just sort of these small minor publishing areas. So education, things like that. Biographies even, a lot of things you could do. I'd like to see that continue to move forward and comics to enter into legitimacy. And I think that will happen to a certain extent. I don't know how far, but I think the big two will be shrinking overall in their market share, continuing to shrink. And I don't think they're going anywhere. I worry about DC a lot because without Batman, they don't have a ton going for them. They got some great stuff, but it just doesn't have the mass appeal that the other guys do. So their movies and stuff hopefully will help maybe push these characters forward a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't think the DC movies are going to do that well. But hey, I'd love to be mistaken. Tips for the top three. Okay, so first of all, let's go DC. I think DC's doing a great job with their pricing. I think it's fair to have your higher marquee books at a higher price as your sort of lower sub books. What I think is I feel like they have a lot of top-down decision-making where it feels like there's one guy with an idea who just has so much power and control and will just make everybody do it, and it's dumb a lot of the time. And the whole thing with books and art and media and stuff like that is it should be a collaborative effort, and you can almost feel that top-down energy sometimes. Things like those Lego variants that just came. I thought the Lego variant was a great idea. I loved Lego as a kid. I think turning the characters into Lego is cool. But then all they did was have the figures bursting through the page. In every issue, it looked exactly the same because someone's like, they started that with the 0-year books, and they're like, this we're going to do with every book. It's the greatest thing ever. And it's not that great. It's dull. It's plain. It's fine for like one book, but for every character to have that on every book, it gets really dry. And then they do it all over again with the Lego. That to me feels like one person making that decision who thinks it's great. Having 52 titles, I think, is a really dumb idea, and being so committed to that number of 52. There's nothing really interesting or exciting about the number 52, but there's some obsession with 52 with DC, and I think that's ridiculous and silly. So I think they should give their creators a little more freedom. And I'd just like to see that company run a little looser and having a little more fun. I don't know. I'm not in there, so I'm not sure. Let's go Marvel. Their pricing really needs to be fixed. $4 is way too much for a lot of these books. Like, I'd love to be reading the Nightcrawler book right now. I don't want to spend $4 on it. And that's one that you almost could make an argument for because it's Chris Claremont. But like the Amazing X-Men, there's all these titles. They're all $4 now. Was Dupe $4? Like, give me a break. Let's tone it down a bit because that's crazy. And no one asked for the digital copy. That that's what they offer. And I think they're going to be doing $5 books for all number ones now, which is, to me, just feels like a huge cash grab. It should be cheaper, if anything, so you have a chance to try it out and see if you like it, and then maybe pick it up. So maybe that, a lot of people think that the number ones go for so much because of speculators. Maybe that's part of it, but I don't know too many people who buy 5 or 6 number one issues for like new Marvel books. So I think what it is there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'll give this book a try, see how it is, and then if I like it, I'll stay on it. So you see the number drop after number 1 because not everybody likes it. But they need to get that figured out because it's just way too much. And like, I've dropped so many books which I would like to be reading just because it's too hard on my pocketbook. I got other things I want to read, and things I'm enjoying for less. So that's that. I'd also like to see for both the big two to rein in the events, specifically Marvel. I know Marvel sort of has this system where they have Avengers books and then an Avengers event, and then Spidey books and a Spidey event, and then X-Men books, X-Men. It kind of always, that's why it always feels like one's going on. What I'd like to see is like sort of maybe like a TV schedule series season where you have all the books going like 8 months and then, or 4 months or whatever, and then they all do an event together for summer or whatever. You can get different writers in, get some of the main writers, give them a break for the event, let some newer writers go and take over the event. So now the regular creators can get some fresh ideas, have a break, get sort of re-inspired and move forward with a particular direction instead of just trying to keep up and constantly maintain. And then you can also make those events like a big deal where they actually matter. We have one big event a year. People don't get fatigued. Everyone enjoys it. I think just in the long run, it would be better that way. Image, I don't mind the number ones. The way I understand they run is you are creator-owned, so you're investing most of your book. Like, it's not like Image is buying this title from you and then spending all this money to publish it. Like, I think you have to put a lot of your money up, of your own money up as a creator to even get it printed and things like that and shipped. So I don't mind that because all that kind of comes down to just different creators. And Image is just saying, okay, if you want to make a book, we'll sort of help bring you along, but it's mostly your baby. We'll bring it along for you. So the way their company's structured, it makes more sense to have a lot of titles. I'd like to see them require, though, that one arc is finished before they publish a book. So that they'll have at least 6 issues, 4 issues, whatever it is, start as like a mini one arc story. Because a lot of these new creators and new artists and things like that, I think, don't know how much work and time it takes. or they get overloaded or whatever, and it becomes sort of not as important as maybe some of the, if they're working over at Marvel or DC or whatever. So they get pushed to the back burner. You don't see books for 3, 4, 5 months, and it just kills the momentum of the book, and you lose interest. So to commit to the stories and getting like a quality product out, if I'm going to buy 3 issues, I want that whole story to be done. I don't want to buy 2 books and have to wait 6 months for the next issue to come out. So 1 arc done, get it done. Okay, sorry, I'm going long here. So what was the next question? Who would paint me? Is it me or my family? I can't remember what you said. But I'm trying to pick someone besides Alex Ross, because a lot of people have said Alex Ross. You said Alex Ross. But the way you frame that question is there's no cameras in the world or anything, so you want someone who's going to be pretty realistic. If there were cameras, I'd probably take like a Fiona Staples or someone like that and get a really cool surrealist image of me, something that looked like me, but sort of, I don't know, turn me into a giant friggin' Batman, battle armor type thing, something like that would be pretty sweet, something fun, different to remember me by, not just sort of a standard me standing there in a suit or whatever. Okay, the book standoff, Showcase 4 versus FF1. Not a huge FF fan, and I'm not a huge Flash fan, as my house almost collapsed. I don't know if you can hear that. But I got to go with Fantastic Four #1, because to me that era started so much with Marvel. I'm a bigger Marvel fan than I am a DC fan. They sort of changed everything with the way they did that book, and super important historically. So I'm going to go with Fantastic Four #1. Batman 1 or Amazing Spider-Man #1. I've traditionally been a bigger Spider-Man fan than Batman. They're both even now. I'm going to go with Batman #1. It's older, it's harder to find, and I don't really like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 cover that much. I just don't think it's that nice of a book, and even the story isn't, it's okay. It's nothing like how great Amazing Fantasy 15 is. So, like, I don't like that Spider-Man's tied up on that cover, and even though he's supposedly faking it, if you know what I'm talking about, it's just, it doesn't really do it for me. So, even though I really want that book because it's important historically in Spider-Man history, Batman #1. New Mutants 98 or Harley Quinn #1. I like both those characters. I like Deadpool better, though. So definitely New Mutants 98. I really do want that Harley Quinn #1 book. It's one I've been keeping my eye out for. I've never seen it just out in a store anywhere. So I might have to just buy it online one day. Belch. Yeah, I like that Harley Quinn #1 much better than I like the New Adventures of Batman, or whatever it's called, Batman Adventures #12. So yeah, it's got that beautiful Alex Ross Joker and Harley Quinn on there. Walking Dead #1 versus TMNT #1. Gotta be TMNT. I know everyone else said this too. Everyone has their 80s cartoon that they love. Mine was Ninja Turtles to the max. Absolutely. So I can't not choose them. I would be just selling out my brothers there, the Turtles. And I don't think Walking Dead will be here to stay. I don't think it has the staying power. I think it'll probably at the most maintain sort of where it's at. I just don't think it really revolutionized anything that much. It sort of brought zombies back into the mainstream more than it really took anything to new levels or anything. It's a good series and I like the series, but I don't think it's really groundbreaking on too many levels. So yeah, I think that was it. So thanks so much for doing the contest, man. Congratulations again. If you get some time, you know, it's nice and warm here at the beach. Come by, enjoy my holodeck, and we'll hang out. Anytime you're up in Canada, give me a ring. We'll hang out. I'll show you around the comic shops, and you can pick out all the awesome stuff that I miss. So take care, buddy. Congratulations, and thanks a lot. Bye.